All right, so I'll do a quick little demo with you guys separate from the video on kind of comparing the ionic and the molecular compounds. So I'll show you what I got going on here. I just have a heat source, and I have two little containers here. One of them has salt in it, one of them has sugar. And what we're going to do is we're just going to simply turn on the flame. We're going to see what happens with the salt and what happens with the sugar. Sugar is a molecular compound, whereas salt is an ionic compound. Salt has a metal and a non-metal. Sugar is nothing but non-metals bonding together, right? Some carbon, some hydrogen, some oxygen bonding together to make sugar, so it is a molecular compound. Everything that we've learned about, everything that we talked about here, what you've read about in the textbook, what you read about in the packets, lends you to understand that ionic compounds tend to have higher melting points than molecular compounds. So we should see that in action here with what we did. Okay, so I'm going to grab the camera and we're going to come over here and let you look. All right, let me see. Let me grab my lighter. And as you can see, this is sugar. And this one on the table is salt. So we're going to do the sugar first, and then we'll do the salt. So real quick, hold on. Let me light the fire. All right, be super quick with it. You can see fire's only been lit for just a second. I'll turn the flame down a little bit so hopefully it doesn't happen too fast. If you can see, I can see, I don't know if you can see, but I'm starting to see the sugar melt just a little bit. Ow, almost got hot. There it is. So you see right around the edges here, see it kind of becoming a liquid and already beginning to melting. I don't know exactly how long we've been doing this, but we haven't been doing it very long. All right, so there's that. All right, let me set the camera down real quick, and then I will swap to the other one. All right. So we got the salt up here now. And we'll just watch it for a little while and see if anything happens with the salt. So you can see fairly quickly the sugar melted. Sugar has a pretty low melting point. You could try this at home, you know, don't burn your house down. If you want to, get a little bit of sugar and stick it in a pan on the stove or whatever, and you can see that it'll melt fairly quickly. And then you take salt and you try to melt it, you're gonna have a really hard time melting it. I won't give it away just to see if any of you guys will look it up yourself. Maybe you can post and message me. I won't say post in the comments, but message me and let me know. Look up what the melting point of sugar is and what the melting point of salt is, just so you can see the difference in those two numbers, and see if that's interesting or surprising to you at all. But I think by now we had the sugar melted already. That's great. I'm gonna need a paper towel. But as we watch, there is nothing happening with the salt. All right. Another difference between, I had a lab that I planned on doing, and I don't know, maybe I can still do the lab for you guys like this and just kind of do the whole thing, or it's kind of just goes into the detail of this a little bit more, but what the other differences is. Ionic compounds like salt tends to dissolve in water, whereas molecular compounds, some of them dissolve in water, but a lot of them don't. And sugar is one that actually does. Ionic compounds, once they dissolve in water, once you have that solution does conduct electricity, when that tends not to be the case for molecular compounds. So there's some things that we can do to kind of test and see one the other. I think we've done this long enough to see, okay, there is just nothing happening. Try to get good light here. The salt's just, you see it's not beginning to melt as I kind of bump it around at all. It's just chilling. So as you can see, this is just not hot enough to melt the salt. If I do this, see if I can have some fun here. Give my bad boy a little more oxygen and get a little bit more heat on there. This turns the temperature up quite a bit, and hold it a little closer. Maybe, well, if you look closely, you can actually see the salt bouncing around. It's getting enough energy that it's bouncing around, but it's still not melting it yet, even though we increased the temperature quite a bit. Anyhow, enjoy. Hope you're having fun.